Spider-Man PS4 will follow the story of a young adult Peter Parker who has finished college and is making that leap into adult life. He has been a hero under the guise of Spider-Man for 8 years leading up to the events of the game. The game will begin with Peter waking up and going out when he gets the call to get to Fist Towers from Yuri Watanabe, an adversary Peter himself has been trying to take down for his underground crimes, and today is the day Yuri and the New York police has made their move. After successfully taking Fist down, crime goes quiet for a while, giving Peter a false sense of security that his real self can finally have more of a real life after 8 years of work, putting 4 of the Sinister Six behind bars and finally taking down Willie Fist. When Herman Schultz, aka the Shocker, commits a bank robbery after being broken out of jail by a man in a trance posing as an officer that was killed right after he completed his task. During Spider-Man and Shocker's confrontation, he informs Spider-Man that the only way to save his life is to let him have the money or they will kill him. This is the beginning of either the work of the mysterious villain that we know of from the E3 2018 trailer, or, of course, more than likely Mr. Negative, aka Martin Lee, to help keep the feast shelters running. But your guess is as good as mine on this. After this event, crime starts to pick up again with a new threat called the Inner Demons. Starting the beginning of the game's Plot A story, the mission to uncover who the leader of this new threat is, take him down, and bring a level of peace back to the city. But while this becomes Spider-Man's mission, Mr. Negative's forces start to move in on Fistmen still on the streets, putting in work out of bases based in skyscrapers under construction, and he tries to acquire the Dragon's Breath, a bioweapon that can target specific individuals based on their DNA. And that's what we know about Plot A of Spider-Man PS4 thus far. Plot B has not been as fleshed out as Plot A within Spider-Man PS4, although we do know that there will be a Plot B, and of course, obviously, they're not going to try and do, of course, the plot line of Mr. Negative and the plot line of their Sinister Six assembling in one big cohesive story. No, this is going to be the Plot B. The whole Sinister Six thing is going to be the Plot B. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, please take this with a grain of salt. Don't get mad at me if this isn't how this turned out being, even if you like what I'm going to say here, or even if you think that this could lead to a very compelling turn of events within a story. Take it with a grain of salt, niggas. So after the events at the raft, in which the Sinister Six assemble, Peter makes his way to presumably Oscorp, as we do see him make his way there. It does seem like to me that Peter and Norman Osborn are in the same place in this exact scene here. It does seem like they're in the same exact place, although I'm not 100% sure. New York has gone to shit with barricades set up, and a new threat has been summoned to try and take Spider-Man out once again. Or shall I say, they've been hired to take Spider-Man out. Silver Sable and her henchmen. We can also see what appears to be some kind of trap set up in the middle of New York by Silver Sable and her henchmen in the latest trailer. Sable and her men are hinted to have been hired by Norman Osborn, probably to take down the Sinister Six as well, as we do see that she does mention Peter getting in her way will not be tolerated again. And Norman even speaks about the order to kill Spider-Man on sight and how he's an enemy of the people. Now, what I think is that this probably has something to do with him either being the leader of the Sinister Six and he wants to paint Spider-Man as a villain as he tries to claim dominance over New York by being its mayor and, of course, its new crime lord at the same time, simultaneously. During this plot line, Spider-Man will team up with Miles Morales and Mary Jane. Miles, we've seen, has a knack for recording Spider-Man. Maybe this will play into some kind of modern theme as he is pretty young and still in high school, like using the internet to save Spider-Man's image, and Mary Jane will gather intel for him during both plot lines. These two side forces should help Spider-Man not only keep morale up in the city, but also send messages to the people to continue to believe in him and his purpose as the Spider-Man and as their quote-unquote savior. And MJ will help him stay ahead of the curve as we see her sneaking about during, of course, a meeting between Osborn and Silver Sable. So what I believe that what is going to happen here is that Miles Morales and his true purpose within the story, from what we've seen thus far, and the reason why we saw him recording Spider-Man and why he wanted to make sure that he got, like, the image of everything that happened after he had taken out Mr. Negative during the E3 2017 trailer, was because he was pretty much trying to get this imagery to probably make some kind of blog post about Spider-Man. Hey, I saw Spider-Man doing this today. We know that him and Spider-Man will be close, so I think that potentially could be the case, to where he'll probably like, hey, I saw Spider-Man today on his blog, and this is what he was doing. Here's the full footage of what he was doing. And of course, we know that there will be the Daily Bugle, and I feel like this will kind of be like a rivalry to the Daily Bugle as well, or potentially Miles could even give his images to Mary Jane, who will then push out, of course, those stories and those images through the Daily Bugle under, of course, I forgot his name. I forgot his name, man. Holy hell. What is J. Jonah Jameson? I hope that's right. Jameson. I think that's what they're going to do. I think Miles is going to pretty much get the images, get the video, and of course push it on the internet, which is going to be like how they're going to kind of tie the themes and stuff into this story feeling a lot more modern, in which they're going to use the internet to try and keep Spider-Man's image up in this time in plot B, as of course Norman Osborn does label him an enemy of the people. Miles Morales can actually show, no, Spider-Man is still doing the exact same thing he's always been doing. He's still out here saving people. And of course, Mary Jane is going to be how he's going to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to Silver Sable and Norman Osborn. And this is what's going to be what keeps him in the realm of possibility to keep on, doing what he does best, and that's being the hero of New York and, of course, keeping the streets safe. So let me know what you guys think about it. Do you think that what will happen has anything to do with Norman Osborn being the leader? Do you think that means that, of course, he's going to be working with Miles Morales for some type of internet thing? Let me know how you feel about plot B. Plot B, I think, is going to be more interesting than plot A, because it can go so many different places. The only place I feel it can't go is like the death of Spider-Man, because who knows, I think they are probably going to try and do a sequel. However, it doesn't seem like this universe is actually so based and entrenched into the Marvel lore that, of course, any kind of possibility of Spider-Man being revived is possible, unless they start playing around with time and stuff like that, in which I don't think they're going to do that, because they are taking the story of this game very seriously, and it does seem like they are trying to build this not only as a game itself, but they are building it with future proof. And what I mean by that is that they are trying to take this story, introduce a new villain that hasn't been in any Spider-Man game yet, bring in some more guys and stuff, and they are building up that Spider-Man does have a roster of villains that he has taken out prior. I think that we have heard that Mysterio or something like that will play into this game at some point in some kind of way, maybe through a DLC, or maybe I'm thinking wrong and that was actually the new Spider-Man movie from the Homecoming and Marvel movies, from the MCU films, but who knows. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is pretty much a breakdown of everything that you need to know. The story elements, I will be coming back with more videos such as the gameplay. I'm talking about everything from web swinging to the gadgets to the combat and everything like that, which is going to be a far more longer, far more padded out video that may be somewhere around like 20 to 30 minutes long. I will also talk about the characters, which I'm going to talk about more so Peter, Mary Jane. I'm going to talk about Aunt May, Miles Morales, and a few more characters that we know of, probably even Martin Lee. And then I will talk about villains, which is going to be, of course, talking about Mr. Negative, Silver Sable, Norman Osborn, Herman Schultz. We're going to talk about, of course, everyone in the Sinister Six. So hopefully you guys stick around for that content. This has been your boy Mazia. Don't forget to do a little A-Class gaming. Everything you do, don't forget to keep it A-Class. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. I will actually be live streaming Spider-Man PS4 for as long as possible once the game releases on the 7th of September, or if of course the PS4 isn't lying to me and I can play it a little early on the 6th of September, then I will be playing it as soon as it releases. We'll be live waiting on the countdown to go down, playing something else probably a little bit for a little while, and then we're gonna hop right into Spider-Man PS4 and get down to this experience. So don't forget to subscribe for that if you want to see it or be there when it happens. This has been your boy Mazia, and peace the heck out.
What's left of me? What's left of me? And you.